Okay, so we'll go ahead and start this and
Can you give it full screen?
try to play catch up. Yeah, help her. So with all this, first off, my name is Paul Charbonnet. I'm the one that kind of put all this together, and I super appreciate all of you joining in on this. I think we have a great community, and as
Nice to join.
members, I think we need to protect it, and I think we are in a situation that we can reverse, but it's just going to take some community participation and try to get us all united. You know, right now, you know, there. Someone said the word factions. I don't like to use that word, but there's obviously some who are pro and against. But realistically, I feel that we are all under we all want the same thing. We all want a good community that has good amenities and that our money goes somewhere and we know where it goes. Right now, we don't have that, regardless of what side you're on. So in today's meeting, I don't think we're going to solve anything. I don't think we're going to try to solve any of the problems that we have in our community, just because we don't have enough time. And there's so much background on this. We've been living here since September, and already I've learned so much, and it's taken me months to figure it out.
Is he on the board?
So with all this, the biggest thing is we need to figure out that as a community, how do we save our community? And with all the people that I've talked to, I've talked to people about the lawsuit that happened and about other various things that have happened in and out of the clubhouse and with the LLCs and all this sort of stuff. And there are so many pieces to this puzzle, and it's crazy. It's hard to follow. But really, as a community, we are one, and we need to make a push to let the POA, to let the two LLCs know that we're tired of being pushed around, and that our money, we've earned it. We don't mind paying POA fees and dues, but we want transparency. And so I think the biggest thing that we can ask for right now is transparency. Where if we can get the questions answered, then all this may go away. Because I'll be honest, I tell my wife, I'm 100% fine with being 100% wrong on everything that I think is the case. But the problem is the POA, anyone that you ask questions to, doesn't have answers, or they won't answer anything. So it leads you to think that there is misconduct happening. And so we need to change that. So in that, the biggest thing, and a lot of the people that I've talked to, we kind of hold all the cards as far as funding this place, where no one wants our property values to go down. No one wants to lose anything that we have. But our really main card that we have is dues. And I know that is a tough one to swallow as far as not paying them. And I'm not advocating not paying them right now. I'm just saying that is one of our options that we have. Because if you do the math, even just rounded math, we all pay just 100, because, I guess there's some who may not know, but I'm sure most do. We basically pay two fees. We pay the POA fee, and then we pay the golf assessment fee. The golf assessment is the $150. With that $150, with that over $500,000 in money to the resort, to the clubhouse. And in that, from what I'm told, we only offer up to 25, maybe 30% of all revenue that the clubhouse is making. So that puts it in the neighborhood of $2.5 million a year. Why they think they can just take the money and do nothing with it, is beyond, you know, do nothing to us to show that they have our best interests, I'm not sure. But again, I'm not looking to point fingers, trying to get us all together on the same page. So with that, I mean, does anyone have any questions? No? All right, does anyone have any alternative ideas that you think can be a viable option for us to do? And you know, no wrong answers, no bad answers.
Shut up, you.
I guess I'll start by trying to be nicer.
Please.
Still,
I'm like you. I've been here for 3 years, and I just feel like it's us against them, and it shouldn't be that way. We should be a community that can all together, all get along. Whether you voted for or voted against, it doesn't matter. I jumped in. My wife jumped in. We decided to make lemonade out of our lemons. We decided to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. We started volunteering. It's just I do my best to try to stay positive, but then every time I turn around, like this last one, you're going to hand us the pool, and you're going to hand us the tennis court, and expect us to still pay for it, and we got to maintain it. And the swimming pool is literally fixing to slide into the pond. If they put that burden on our back, they're dumber than what I thought they were.
well, and let's try to dial it in. We're not going to put names and things, which I understand. I understand, but for meeting one, we're going to try to keep it a little. We're not going to make it Facebook. Basically.
I'd like to see a group of us get together and somehow talk to the POA and say, concerns, this is the issues that we're having. Please help us through this. Because I feel right now that we don't have that line of communication.
Correct.
With the POA. And then the POA on our behalf should have a discussion if we have concerns with the LLC. I don't know how to make that happen.
Yeah, and so that by far is one of the biggest issues is communication. And you know, transparency, I think, is key in what we need to ask for. I think, you know, before we ask for money, before we ask for things to be repaired, we need transparency first. And I think that is really going to be the end all. As soon as we can get the transparency, then we know all the answers. You know, we can ask all the questions and we can get them. But until we get that transparency from you know, both the POA and the two LLCs, because basically we're giving our money to them. And you know, from everything that I've seen, there is a lot of money going to places that it shouldn't be, according to the POA rules and according to all the guidelines. So,
hey, Paul.
Yes.
Am I okay? I want to interject right here. I think this is where a lot of the animosity is coming from. Those of us that have been here back when this took place, Gillis, myself, Brian Rabelais, Don Pine, whoever that is, we tried to ask these questions. We were at the meetings. We were at the face-to-face. We tried to ask these questions, and we were disregarded. We were shunned. We were talked over. We were told, and I forget now, it might have been Cleve, honestly. I don't remember, but somebody tried to film the meeting because his wife was out of town. And we were told, no. A lawyer said, absolutely no. It said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're a lawyer. You're in front of a courtroom, or I mean, a video is evidence. So when you deny us that right, immediately the distrust started.
Agreed.
And it has done nothing but compile from there. Agreed. So the 192 of us that said no, we're tired of trying to negotiate. We tried to negotiate. We tried at the beginning. And now Gillis has been kicked out of a meeting because he doesn't pay his dues. I'm not allowed to run for the board with you because I don't pay my dues and we have liens against our property. So we don't, it's hard to be rational and reasonable when we're, almost a year into this of being told your opinion doesn't matter. You don't get a say. So you don't, no, your question doesn't matter. That's silly.
And which is the big thing. Cause I went, being new, I went to that, meet the board, little dinner snack bar thing.
Yeah, I did too.
And I asked questions to Lee Kirby directly, and just asking us like, hey, I'm new. I hear all this stuff on Facebook. What's the deal? And I didn't get a straight answer. I sat there, looked him in the eye the entire time, and I left with more questions than I had started with. And that was one of the first tips of how, I feel that the POA has a responsibility to maintain, order in a sense, of making the community happy. And right now we have a lot of discourse in the community because the POA is doing things and not answering simple questions. And I think that's wrong. And I think that's, it's not neighborly. It's not how you run, that's not how you're the head of anything, by steamrolling people, because, people get out of the way of steamrollers. And, it just really sucks that we, are under this obligation to pay. But at the same time, the only way to really stop it is you cut their finances.
Agree.
Agreed.
Now, and one point to it is, again, right now, not advocating this, but in today's time with the pandemic, this would be the worst time for the POA to start putting liens on people's homes while there's a economic disaster happening, where people are out of jobs and now they're going to start taking homes. No one is going to want to move in here, and I'm guaranteed that the golf membership would drop drastically because no one's going to want to support that. Because we have teachers, we have nurses and doctors who live in here, and as soon as you start taking away their homes, people are going to get upset and start putting liens on their stuff. Plus, it costs money to put a lien on someone's house. They may not have enough financial resources to put a lien on everyone's house. So it's one of those things, like we just need to come together as a community and decide, are we tired and done of this, of being pushed around and being someone else's piggy bank? Because like I said earlier, there's a lot of things in here. And, if you go to the Secretary of State's website, I printed out the board members of each LLC. And I can tell you right now, there's at least 2 members on both boards who are also running and are on the current POA board, which to me is a huge, that's a conflict of interest. That I think if you have any sort of financial interest in making money on this place, you really shouldn't be the one dictating the community.
Hi. This is Peg Lucky, my husband, John Rose. John was the gentleman who was trying to film at that meeting because I was always traveling for work. Recently, we retired. Some of the stuff that really disturbs us is that we read things that from the financial, if you were running your house, financially, you would not do these things. Example, paying off interest instead of paying off the loan. And making payments on interest for the last, I think it was 5 years it was said, instead of paying off the loan, which we have the money to do. You pay off the loan, you have no more interest. If you keep just paying the interest, it's not getting us any farther. As a homeowner, we would not do that sort of thing. So why do they think it's okay to spend our money that way? Those are the kind of things that trouble us the most.
Agreed. Belinda, do you have a question?
I'm trying to guess. I got out for some reason. I'm trying to get back in. I now see a list and I'm at the top.
Okay.
I see my hand. I see the mic. So what should I do?
Hello, my name is Steve Brainiac. I live on Dogwood Trace with my wife, Karen. We moved in here in 1994. And at the time, we felt that the POA was working in the interest of the community. But since about 2009 or 10, the POA has really been out of control. You mentioned conflicts of interest. There are tremendous conflicts of interest. The POA really is not working on our behalf anymore. They're working for the developer. The POA is nothing more than a conduit to take dues and money from the property owners and give this to the developer. And this latest thing they want to do to turn the pools back over to the POA. You know, I'm one of the 192 that voted, my wife and I, against the club support assessment. And I just wonder how the people who voted for it feel now when they see that it was really nothing more than a sham, that they don't want to operate the club for the community. They want to get rid of the assets that they think are of no value or little value and put that back on the POA. How are the property owners going to pay for this? There's huge costs, huge liabilities with these swimming pools and with the tennis courts. It will never be able to pay for this without massive dues increase, but we're already paying for the club. The people who voted for the club, I think the election was a rigged deal. The developer claimed a majority of votes, which was really illegal and fraudulent, but as it was, they won the lawsuit. How do people feel who voted for the club, who now are getting, they want to turn this pool and this tennis court back to us to operate and run when it's a failing asset? It has no value. It's only going to be.
Well, that's a good point. Is there anyone here who voted for everything that has some insights that they could bring in? Because, you know, really in this meeting, my hope was to hear both sides, because I wasn't here. Me and my family were not here for this.
Hey, this is Kyle. I voted yes because I was scared of what the values were going to do based on not having a clubhouse and a golf course. I probably played golf, and I'm a golfer. I probably played golf. I've been here almost 3 years. I probably played 6 times out there. I hate the cart paths. They're in terrible shape. But we have a new jungle gym on our nature trail that we can go work out on. The money was spent on. I guess when I saw that the other day, when I went to the nature trail and saw that, then that's what fired me about it.
And I can tell you this right now, that according to the CNR, that since we don't own that property, or the POA doesn't own that property, they technically could not build that on that property. So, but continue.
Well, I mean, I like I said, I was more because I'm not going to be here much longer, and I was wanting to keep the values up because I recently got married and I'm going to move somewhere else. But now I'm stuck here because I'm going to lose the equity that I put in this place. I was great 3 years ago, and now, I mean, how many things are for sale around here? I mean, everywhere you turn there's a for sale sign, and that's scary when you don't have anything but tell them, oh, okay, I got $187 that I got to give over to you, and I don't have a golf membership or anything. I've been all about, hey, everybody out here should, if you got to increase the dues like that, at least give a one household golf membership, something to be able to benefit paying $187 a month. You know, so, but the only way to make money, and they've gone the wrong way, is marketing right now. You got the Island shutting down their golf course in Plaquemine. A lot of the Baton Rouge golf courses have shut down. Right now, our money should be marketing on the radio, spots to get people out here to play golf. The practice facilities at the course, right around the clubhouse, tennis courts, the practice facility. I spend more time at the practice facility than I do playing golf. I like the practice facility. That's garbage over there. You can't chip and putt and do anything on the practice facility.
Yeah.
So I just think the money is not being, you got to get people out here to enjoy the restaurant and everything else. I don't eat at the restaurant because I can go eat half the price at the Francis in St. Francis.
And better service.
Valentine's Day, it was a special. Their special for 2 people for Valentine's Day was $175. I was like, this country club of Louisiana, I have friends of mine that live in there. Theirs was $100. I mean, who's making these prices up? I mean, how you get people to go at a Valentine's Day and do that when it's twice as high as the most expensive country club around here?
Agreed.
So,
and all those
making these
very
things, whoever's making these food costs and everything else, get people. You can't bump everything so high that you can't afford because people are going to go into town and eat.
Agreed.
Right.
And with that, like you are 1,000% correct. Unfortunately, those are things that I don't think that we'll be able to turn around until we get a new regime or something inside the POA and figuring out some transparency. Really one of the things that I think is very valuable that we actually have someone, who's running for the POA board who wants everything that we do, as far as transparency. I don't know, I'm sure y'all seen on Facebook, Gregory Loubier. And from what I can tell, of all the candidates who are running, he's the only one in this meeting right now. So, he is a resident of the community who wants the community to be better than what it is. So, I mean, if, Gregory, do you have anything that you want to say to anyone? All right, you're on mute.
Am I on mute?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, the thing that I'm saying and is just the non-transparency, and like the guy was saying, if they've been fighting this for that long, it's just not tolerable for these people not to tell us where the money's going. I mean, when you're going to have a business, I'm in business for myself, I own a business, and when you're going to have a business and you have investors or whatever, I mean, you have to let them know where the money's being spent. But like I said, I don't want to accuse them of hiding anything. I don't know if they hide it, but I do know this, that if you're not willing to be totally transparent and let the people know exactly what's going on, even if you're in trouble, even if the place is in trouble and they're hitting on hard times or whatever, you have to keep the people informed. The POA is supposed to represent the voice of the people. And I just don't see where it's getting represented in the way. Now, I don't know who's harnessing that.
You went on mute. Take yourself off of mute.
Greg, y'all
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So what Gregory, I think what Gregory's saying is 100% correct. To where, that's what we need. What's that? So
My only concern with the petition that's going around right now for the voting is Gregory's name is left off.
yeah, and so
Unless you go back through emails or text messages or Facebook posts, you won't know that this gentleman is running for our board.
agreed. And I'll be honest.
So how do we know that they're going to count that correctly if you write them in?
That's we don't, basically, because of the lack of transparency, that we don't know if our own voting is going to be counted correctly. And I can tell you this, that I went with Gregory to turn in the ballot. And I knew, I had a hunch. I was like, you know what? They're probably going to say that this didn't get turned in. So we actually took pictures, which I think were included in the email. But we took pictures of him turning in the ballot to Kitty's office with, with other ballots. And again, I'm sure this is not coming across well, but that little Post-it note has Kitty's name on it. And that's someone else's ballot, our nomination for people. So they conveniently left Greg out and refused to send out another form. But what do you do? But with that, as a community, we still have a voice, even if we aren't able to get someone in that is for us. And ultimately, again, it goes back to the dues. The dues are the only thing that we can really control. Basically, what it comes down to. So, I don't know, but with this, I know we can go round and round and point fingers and all this sort of stuff, but I really wanted this first meeting to just get a temperature of the water, to see how everyone's feeling, to see what we can do, and if anyone has any ideas. What I want for our next one, I'd love to do a face-to-face. I know we're kind of still on this social distancing thing, and Zoom actually turned out way better than I expected, just because of the technological challenges that I know Zoom has. So if anyone is down for a face-to-face, I am too. And with that, we can share paperwork. I can get some of the paperwork from the lawsuit, and we can see, we can dig deeper into this to where everyone can be on the same page as to what is going on and what we're trying to get answered. So with that, I mean, again, I appreciate everyone joining. I actually, this meeting is, I am recording it. So, in case anyone wants, arrived late and missed some things, that we can get that to you. Yeah. But if anyone doesn't have anything else, does anyone else have anything that they would like to add?
Oh, I would like to, this is Cleve Coates. My wife and I, we're going to be moving for long. We have two options with the Facebook page that I currently have. If y'all want to talk amongst yourselves, figure out what y'all want to do with this Facebook page. I know it is another avenue of talking. I know I've been kind of a butt head here lately. I need to get nicer. But we're going to be moving to Knoxville, and I won't have a purpose for having this page. So if anybody would like to, a group of people would like to take it over to be the admins, if y'all would rather I killed it, whatever y'all want to do with it.
Ooh, don't kill it. No,
No, please don't kill it, Cleve.
Yeah.
This is Steve Brignac again. And Paul, I really appreciate you setting up this Zoom meeting. I think it was very effective. It's nice to talk to other people who think that the same way as us, because at times we feel so isolated. And I think what someone stated earlier, we do control the purse strings. That's one thing we can do now. My wife and I haven't paid anything since last year, and it is a tough time for anybody to file a lien. And I think that there are some avenues we can do, but the bottom line, the POA just doesn't represent the property owners anymore. They're not acting on our behalf. There's no transparency, and they've taken money. Their own financial statements show $400,000 in profit over the last 4 or 5 years. Where is this money gone? It's gone. There's no record. There's no information on any interest-bearing account. I'd like to know where they're putting this money. I mean, I think we've talked about it. There's tremendous conflicts of interest. The LLC is really just a facade for the developer. And I'd love to continue having some of these meetings and try to plan the best path forward.
Agreed.
And thank you very much, Cleve, for your help in setting up this Facebook page.
Right. I appreciate it immensely. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, so Cleve, by by all means, please leave the page up. I know I've messaged you about the page in the past. So that definitely still stands. I think it's a great community resource. What's crazy is how many people view a post, but it's only about 10 of us, if that, who actually speak up.
The bad part with that, the view post, I got to keep the membership below 250. If the membership goes below 250, the how many people you see on it, you no longer see it after 250. So some people got mad. They haven't posted since they've been on there. So I started dropping some people off. It wasn't anything personal, but I had to get it below 250 to start seeing how many people were viewing it. But it'll get up into the hundreds sometimes because I think there's 237 members right now. If 237 are listening to this, that's a lot of people with a lot of voice.
Right. And that's the thing. And I know I've heard people say that, I want to speak out, but my boss lives here or something like that and dealing with business and money. And like, I get it. You're already in a hard spot. You don't want to get into a harder spot. But with that, that's kind of the beauty of the Zoom meeting, but also meeting in person. We can figure it out, and especially in the Zoom meeting, you can put in whatever name you want. There's someone here named iPhone. I don't know who it is. You have total anonymity here.
I'd love to meet Don Pine.
I've good authority who I think I know who it is.
It's not him right here.
Yeah, I won't give them up. But basically, I think we need more of this. I think we need to rise up as a community and say, hey, we've had enough. And it sounds so, Boston Tea Party sort of thing, but that's kind of what America's about. So I know we're tired of having this tyranny on us. So I think we can make it happen. We just need to get a loud voice. So
could we possibly, the olive branch in hand, so to speak, collectively somehow try to give the olive branch to the POA to offer them a chance to work nicely, or an avenue we could take?
Yeah, so I plan on setting up some form outside of Facebook, whether it's an email address or something, where people can write in and communicate that where we can come together in one space that's not Facebook. Because Facebook is great, but Facebook is also super annoying because keyboard warriors can make all the longest journal entries that you'll never read, and then people just get angry and make snarky comments, and that's not what it's about, and that's not what this is about. Like, again, I think what we're doing here, as long as we keep it civil and we keep it non-directed towards any one individual, but instead of the LLC or the POA as a whole, I think it'll be a lot easier, instead of fighting all the heads of the serpent. So,
I'd like to say, hey, this is Sandy. I'd like to say I agree with Cleve in the sense that I'd like to, at this point, look at it as language of extending olive branches and trying to be more transparent, trying to open up the lines of communication. Right now, I think that is the biggest thing, and it's free. Talking to people is free. Communicating with people is free. That does not cost any extra money to do that on a basic level. So before we go in and talking like rising up and, I see pitchforks when that's said, I just, at this point, at this point, I'm not ready to just say these are us against them, none of that. At this point, I think it's just a lot of miscommunication that needs to be clarified and weeded through. We need to figure out what is Facebook's sort of churn of rumors and what is fact and get all of that out on the table. But if the other side is not willing to come to the table, then you start talking about something else.
Correct. And that's exactly what we talked about in the beginning, that no one wants to go to drastic steps. I think if we can have a much civil, understanding conversation with the people, with the POA or the LLC, whoever it takes, I think we're going to get a lot more results out of that versus.
And it has to be both. There has to be representation
Agreed.
from the residents, the LLC, and the POA. There has to be all three who come to the table, and there needs to be clear communication with all three. And I would hope that there was a representative, even if they're just listening here tonight, listening to this, so that at least they have an idea of how people are feeling. Because since there's been no communication, we don't know if they even have any idea how people are feeling.
Which is exactly why I felt the Zoom meeting was great, because people who are not here, they can chime in on their phone or on their computer, but at the same time, it was public. Anyone, if you're in Africa, you could have joined in. So, it was I tried to make it very pronounced on the Facebook page, and I told people in the streets, because I want the whole community here, whether you think the POA and the LLC is, the greatest thing since sliced bread, or if you think that they're on the left hand of the devil, I want you here, because I want to hear both sides, because I'm
Same.
new. I'm new, and Facebook, all you hear is the bad. But at the same time, like I said before, everything that I think I know, I want to be wrong, because if it's wrong, if all the information I know is wrong, then that means that the LLC and the POA and the community is being done right. Unfortunately, when I ask the questions, they don't give me an answer, which leads me to believe that things aren't getting done right, because all we want is transparency. And I think we deserve that. For as much money as we pay, a simple spreadsheet is easy enough. So I don't think that
Paul,
go ahead.
Paul, I want to jump in right quick. Like, you're new. So when I started here, and this was just 3 years ago, I'm in with Kyle. we moved here about the same time ago. It was $62 a month. Shortly after that, I don't remember exact time frames, but shortly after that, they added the $38 for the sewer assessment to your water bill. My water bill used to run $38, $40 a month. Now I'm double that. Then comes for us, Afton Villas, $125. For homeowners, I believe $150. So it keeps going. It keeps going.
Agreed. And that's one of the
one of the questions I asked specifically that I never got a direct answer to is in the bylaws, the CNR somewhere, I don't remember exactly, during the meetings when they were trying to add this assessment. And like I said, I've been angry and I haven't looked at it in a while. There's a certain percentage that they can increase dues every year without vote, without limit.
It's 10%.
And that was in my head, but I wasn't sure. But they can increase your dues 10% every year without a vote. The POA just decides without limit. And I said, so when does this stop? And, it doesn't stop. And they moved on, like completely disregarded me. So the annual meeting has been pushed back. Granted, there's a quote unquote pandemic. I work in healthcare. I don't know that I believe it, but whatever. But when does that non-vote take place? Because I know it's coming, because I know they're not meeting their bottom line.
Yeah.
So it's just so much.
Right. And that's the thing, and that's what we want. We want transparency, and so I think we need to come up. Actually, everyone send me a Facebook message with your email, and I'll compile a list, and I'll send out like a little Google poll, so we can see what everyone, the general questions, what do people want from the POA, what do they think the problems are. That way we have one document that we can all share and see and be able to be on one page. So in our efforts, we can be transparent. So if someone jumps in next week, that they can catch up immediately. Because in all this, if we're not transparent with ourselves, and we're not transparent with the LLC and the POA, I think we're not going to get very far. So you know, that's our biggest thing. Transparency is what we need, is what we deserve. And for them to shut us down like a 2-year-old is pretty ridiculous. So, and unless anyone else has anything to say, I'm pretty much done.
I just wanted to thank you for putting this together.
All right. Well, Cleve, if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have been out there. So I appreciate you, and I know how hard it is to be a Facebook admin, and especially on this page. So,
I have had phone calls, instant messages, people come to my driveway. You have no clue.
yeah, which is sad. It shouldn't be that way.
I agree.
So, but great. I mean,
If that's the case, I don't want to be an admin because I don't do real well with that. I'm gonna be honest. Cleve's got a lot cooler head than I do. I'm still no. I want the page to stay up, but
I'm here and that's it.
yeah. And guys, you know, feel free during this time. We live over by the nature trail entrance, so feel free, come talk my head off. I work from home, so I make my own hours, so everything's good. You know, wash your hands, make sure you don't cough on anyone. But other than that, I think it's great. So, anyone else? Okay, cool deal. Well, yeah, guys, again, super appreciate everyone being here, taking the time. I think this has been a great success. And I'll be sure to be posting on Facebook, you know, when the next one's going to be, and you know, if anything comes from this, because I want everyone to be on board and in tune with everything.
And by the next 5 minutes, Mr. Paul will be an admin on the page.
Perfect. Great. All right, guys.
Thank you for setting this up.
You're welcome, Peggy. All right, guys. Everyone have a good evening. Thank y'all.